You know, Sigma females are like an enigma wrapped in mystery. We all know they're independent, confident, and don't care to fit into any mold. But here's the thing. Underneath that cool exterior, there are desires, secrets they rarely admit, desires that go unnoticed until now. Let's get something straight. Sigma females aren't like the rest of us. They don't need validation, they don't follow crowds, and they sure as hell don't conform. They carve their own path, stand strong in their individuality, and yet there are parts of them that even they keep hidden. Today, we're talking about those secret desires, the things Sigma females crave but will never openly admit. People think Sigma females are all about solitude, independence, and keeping everything to themselves. And while that's true, there's so much more lurking under the surface. These desires don't show up in conversations or Instagram posts. They're quiet, often brushed aside, but they're there, and if you're a Sigma female, you might feel them too. So, let's get into it. Here are the 8 forbidden desires of a Sigma female. 1. The desire for deep, genuine connection. Everyone thinks Sigma females prefer to be alone. And yeah, they love their space. They crave their independence, and there's a certain peace in solitude that's hard to match. But don't be fooled. Beneath that confident exterior and preference for isolation, there's this quiet, almost hidden craving for something deeper. A craving for someone who truly understands them. It's not about attention, approval, or validation. They don't need the world to cheer them on. They don't need constant recognition or praise. What they truly long for is that rare connection where someone sees them for who they really are, beyond the walls they've built around themselves. It's about finding that person who understands their complexities without needing them to explain every little thing. Sigma females often feel like they're constantly misunderstood, and while they've become experts at navigating life alone, there's this deep-seated desire to find a kindred spirit who doesn't require them to bend or compromise who they are. It's not about finding someone to complete them because they're whole on their own. It's about meeting someone who respects their individuality, yet still sees the value in connecting with them on a deeper level. In their world, relationships often come with expectations, labels, and a need to change themselves to fit someone else's idea of what they should be. But for Sigma females, that's not what a real connection is. They want someone who doesn't try to mold them into something they're not, but instead loves them for the unique, unapologetic people they already are. They're not asking for someone to save them or make them feel more worthy. They want someone who stands alongside them, who values their independence as much as they do. The kind of connection where, even in silence, you just get each other. A bond where no words are needed, because everything is already understood. It's not about constant texting or being attached at the hip. It's about the comfort of knowing that, even when they're doing their own thing, there's someone who truly knows them and supports them without trying to change them. This deep connection isn't about seeking validation or admiration. It's about having someone by your side who sees the quiet strength and complexity within, someone who values them without demanding anything in return. It's the kind of bond where they can be themselves, flaws, strengths, quirks, and all, without fear of judgment. Sigma females may seem like they don't need anyone, and maybe they don't. But they long for that rare, authentic connection that transcends words, where you simply know you're not alone, even when you're standing in a room full of people. If this resonates with you, make sure to hit the like button and comment your thoughts below. I'd love to hear what kind of intellectual challenges excite you the most. 2. The need for adventure. Sigma females are known for being grounded, but they've got this wild side too. They might come off as calm, collected, and always in control, but deep inside, there's this hunger for something more, a craving for the unpredictable, the unknown. They're not the type to plan out every detail of their lives because, honestly, that gets boring. They're not afraid of chaos. They thrive in it. They love that feeling of stepping into something without knowing exactly where it's going to take them. Whether it's a spontaneous road trip with no map, a last-minute decision to try something completely new, or just doing something out of the ordinary on a whim, they're all about that sense of freedom. It's not about running away from their responsibilities or hiding from their goals. It's about embracing the thrill of the moment, letting go of control for just a little while. They're independent, sure, and they don't need anyone to tell them what to do. But what they crave is adventure that's on their terms, something that excites them without compromising their sense of self. It's about pushing boundaries, breaking out of the routine, and shaking things up. They need experiences that make them feel alive, that take them out of their comfort zones and remind them of the beauty in spontaneity. For a Sigma female, adventure doesn't always mean extreme sports or dangerous stunts. Sometimes it's as simple as taking a new route home, trying a new hobby, or diving into a book that challenges your way of thinking. Adventure can be as subtle as embracing a change in your daily routine, as long as it shakes things up and adds a little spark to life. It's that sense of unpredictability that they crave, that feeling of knowing that anything could happen, and they're ready to take it on. While other personality types might stick to a set path, Sigma females find joy in exploring the road less traveled. They don't follow the rules because they make their own. This desire for adventure doesn't always come from a place of dissatisfaction. It comes from a place of wanting to live fully, to experience the richness of life in all its forms. It's about finding excitement in the smallest moments and seeing the world as a place full of endless possibilities. They may be grounded, but that doesn't mean they're not looking for the next adventure around the corner. For them, life is about balance, a calm core surrounded by the thrill of the unexpected. And the best part? They don't need anyone else to initiate it. They're more than capable of creating their own adventures, their own journeys, and their own stories. 3. The craving for personal fulfillment. Sigma females are naturally driven by their own goals and ambitions. But here's the thing, they don't just want success. They want to feel fulfilled. It's not about checking off a to-do list or hitting the next milestone. It's about that deep, lasting sense of satisfaction that comes from knowing they've created something meaningful with their own hands, something that goes beyond the superficial. They want to look back on their lives and feel proud of the work they've done, the choices they've made, and the legacy they're building. It's not enough to just climb the ladder. They need to feel like they're making a difference in their own way, leaving behind something that matters, something they can be proud of. For a Sigma female, personal fulfillment isn't about material gain or fleeting rewards. It's that inner peace that comes when they've worked hard, stayed true to themselves, and achieved something that's meaningful to them. It's not about impressing others or conforming to what society expects. It's about knowing that the work they've done has substance and value, even if no one else recognizes it. It's about seeing the impact they've had, whether it's helping someone else grow, creating something beautiful, or simply being the best version of themselves. Personal fulfillment isn't just a destination. It's a journey that reflects their values, their passions, and their purpose. And let's be honest, they don't want to waste their time on things that don't truly matter to them. Success for the sake of success doesn't cut it. It's about looking at the work you've done and feeling proud of the difference you've made, no matter how big or small. Whether you're starting a business, pursuing a creative passion, or just striving to be a better person, what matters most is that sense of fulfillment that comes when your efforts align with your inner values. Sigma females don't chase after fame or external validation. They chase meaning. They're not interested in empty accolades or superficial praise. They want to know that what they've done matters, that they've poured their hearts and souls into something worth doing. That's the real reward. Fulfillment isn't just about getting things done. It's about doing things that resonate with who they are, things that light a fire inside them and keep them going even when the path is tough. It's about feeling like they've left their mark, that they've contributed something of value to the world. When they achieve personal fulfillment, they don't just feel successful, they feel whole, like everything they've worked for has brought them closer to the life they were meant to live. And that's the kind of success that sticks. Don't forget to subscribe if you're into this kind of content and share it with someone who would enjoy exploring deep conversations too. 4. The desire to be seen for who they truly are. It's not about being validated. It's about being understood. Many Sigma females go through life feeling like they're often overlooked or misunderstood. People might see the quiet, confident exterior, but they don't always get what's underneath. There's this deep desire to be seen for all of who they are, not just the independent, self-sufficient side, but the fierce, passionate, vulnerable parts too. They don't want to be put in a box, labeled or reduced to just one characteristic. They're complex, multidimensional people, and sometimes it feels like the world only sees a fraction of what they're truly about. It's like they're constantly battling against the idea that they're just one thing, one type, when in reality, they are so much more. For Sigma females, being misunderstood can feel isolating. They're not looking for constant praise or recognition, but they do want to be seen for the full spectrum of who they are. Yes, they value their independence, but that doesn't mean they don't have depths, passions, and emotions that deserve attention. Too often, people assume that because they're strong and self-reliant, they don't need anyone or anything. But that couldn't be further from the truth. They want someone who understands them beyond the surface level, someone who sees the quiet moments when they're lost in thought, the quiet confidence they carry, and the powerful energy they unleash when they're passionate about something. This desire isn't about seeking validation from others. It's about wanting to be recognized for their whole selves, the parts that are often hidden from view. They want people to acknowledge that they're not just this tough, independent figure who walks alone. They are also the person who cares deeply, who loves fiercely, and who has the kind of intensity that isn't always on display. There's this longing to be recognized for everything they bring to the table, not just the parts that are easy to see. It's a recognition of their complexity, of the many layers that make them who they are. They're not asking for constant attention, but they do want their true selves to be seen and appreciated for what they are. Sigma females don't fit into neat categories, and that's okay. They embrace their complexity. What they truly crave is a world that can see beyond the surface, that can appreciate them for who they really are, not just the parts they choose to show. They don't need anyone to complete them, but they do need to feel like they're truly seen. So what they're really asking for is understanding, not validation, not pity, just recognition of their depth. They want to be seen in all their complexity, and that's more than enough. The need for freedom, but with responsibility. A Sigma female needs freedom, but it's not a free-for-all. They're not interested in chaos or living without limits. What they truly desire is the freedom to carve out their own lives, make their own choices, and live by their own rules. It's about creating a life that feels true to who they are, without being bound by the expectations of others. But here's the thing, this freedom doesn't mean they want to live without responsibility. In fact, it's quite the opposite. Their need for freedom is tied to a strong sense of accountability. They know that the choices they make, the paths they take, have consequences, and they accept that. Freedom to them is not about acting recklessly or doing whatever they want without thinking it through. It's about owning their decisions, even when they're tough, and living with the understanding that their actions affect those around them. A Sigma female wants to be in control of her own life, but that doesn't mean they forget the responsibility that comes with that control. They understand that freedom isn't just a right, it's a privilege, and with that privilege comes the duty to consider how their actions shape their world. They want to make their own rules, but they do so with awareness of the impact they have on others. They don't want to live selfishly or ignore how their freedom might affect those who are important to them. That's where the responsibility comes in. Freedom with responsibility means doing things on their own terms, but with a conscious understanding of the effect their choices have on those around them. It's the balance of living authentically without being reckless or inconsiderate. This is what freedom with purpose looks like, living fully, but in a way that respects the people and world they interact with. It's about being able to make decisions for themselves without being beholden to anyone else's standards, but also knowing that they are not isolated from the bigger picture. Sigma females don't want to live in a bubble. They want to engage with the world, but they need to do it in a way that aligns with their values and beliefs. Their freedom is earned, not granted by others. It's self-created through their ability to stand firm in their independence, but it's never about being careless or dismissive of their influence. They value freedom, yes, but they also value responsibility, knowing that true freedom is not just about doing what they want when they want, but about having the space to grow and make meaningful choices while being conscious of the effects they have on the people they care about. Freedom with responsibility is the foundation of how they live. It's about honoring both their independence and the respect they owe to those around them. 6. The want for stability. In their own way. While they may seem like they're constantly moving, constantly changing, Sigma females secretly desire stability. It's true, they don't always appear to be the type who craves calm or routine. Their lives may seem like they're always evolving, with new projects, new adventures, or new goals on the horizon. But underneath all of that movement, there's a quiet longing for something stable, something they can count on. But here's the catch. It's not the type of stability everyone expects. They don't want the traditional, conventional kind of stability that ties them down to the same place or the same routine. They're not looking for a rigid 9-to-5 job or a life where everything is predictable and mapped out. That's not their idea of stability. For them, stability is about creating a life where they feel in control, where they have the freedom to make their own decisions and the confidence to trust themselves in any situation. It's about building a foundation that supports their independence, allowing them to live life on their terms without the constraints that others might impose. They crave a sense of security, but it's not about being stuck in one place. It's about having the ability to move through life with confidence, knowing they can rely on themselves to handle whatever comes their way. Stability for a Sigma female isn't about comfort zones. It's about knowing that whatever challenges arise, they have the strength and resilience to face them. They don't need others to provide that stability for them. They create it from within. It's about building a life where they are their own anchor, where they're not dependent on external forces to keep them grounded. This stability gives them the space to grow, to explore, and to make decisions based on what feels right for them, not what others expect of them. They can be fluid in their actions, constantly adapting, but still feel a sense of control and security in their ability to navigate through life. It's the kind of stability that lets them thrive while staying true to themselves. So, while Sigma females might seem like they're always in motion, always changing, the truth is that they want a kind of stability that allows them to build and grow in a way that feels empowering. It's not about staying in one place or following a prescribed path. It's about creating a life that allows for both growth and a sense of groundedness, where they can be free yet secure in the choices they make. This is the kind of stability they truly desire, stability in their own way. 7. The fear of being controlled. This one is huge. Sigma females value independence above all else. It's the foundation of who they are and how they navigate the world. They thrive on having the freedom to make their own decisions, follow their own path, and live without anyone trying to shape them into something they're not. But here's the thing. That doesn't mean they don't have deep desires or longings. They're human after all. They crave connection, love, and understanding, just like anyone else. The difference is they don't want to lose their sense of self while chasing these desires. The minute someone tries to impose rules or limitations on their lives, it's game over. The moment they feel like they're being controlled, they pull away. It's not about being stubborn or refusing to compromise. It's about preserving their autonomy. They won't sacrifice who they are just to please someone or fit into a mold. Their independence is non-negotiable, and that's where they draw the line. But the truth? Many Sigma females secretly want to be pursued. They're not saying they don't want a relationship or a partnership, far from it. What they want, though, is to be pursued for who they are, as equals, not because someone is trying to change them or make them fit into their ideal. It's not about submission or giving up their identity. It's about finding someone who respects their individuality and still wants to build something meaningful with them. They want to be seen as strong, capable partners, not someone who needs to be fixed or led. They want a relationship where they're equals, where both partners bring their own strengths to the table and where respect flows both ways. But they also need space to grow, to evolve, and to continue on their own journey without feeling stifled or confined by someone else's expectations. That doesn't mean they don't want closeness or intimacy. It means they want those things on their own terms, without feeling like they're losing their autonomy. They need the freedom to pursue their own dreams, take risks, and make mistakes without someone constantly watching over them. They want a partner who can stand beside them, not behind them, and certainly not in front of them trying to lead. They're not looking for someone to take control of their lives, but rather someone who values their independence and supports their growth. They want equality, respect, and the space to be themselves, while also sharing a meaningful connection. And that's the balance they seek: independence in love, partnership without control. If this sounds like you, make sure to leave a comment. Do you believe that finding deep connections is important, or do you feel more comfortable on your own? 8. The desire for intellectual stimulation. Sigma females are often known for their independence and self-reliance, but there's another layer that often goes unnoticed: the intense craving for intellectual stimulation. They don't just want to get by in life, they want to feel challenged, engaged, and mentally active. It's not enough for them to exist in a passive state, coasting along. They thrive in environments that force them to think deeply, to consider new perspectives, and to question everything around them. Whether it's engaging in meaningful conversations, solving complex problems, or exploring new ideas, they need mental stimulation to feel alive and purposeful. It's not about filling the silence with small talk or meaningless chatter. They're not interested in surface-level interactions that lack substance. What excites them is when someone can match their intellectual depth, spark curiosity, and engage them in dialogue that makes them question, explore, and ultimately grow. Intellectual stimulation isn't about winning a conversation or proving that they're right. It's about the exchange of ideas, learning from one another, and broadening their understanding of the world. They're looking for more than just facts or opinions. They want to dive into discussions that make them think critically and expand their views. For Sigma females, intellectual connection is just as important as emotional or physical connection. It's the foundation of real partnership. They want someone who can challenge them, inspire them, and keep them on their toes intellectually. It's the kind of connection where ideas flow freely, and the conversation never feels forced or one-sided. They're not satisfied with being the smartest person in the room or with only talking about the same old topics. They want someone who pushes them to think differently, to consider new viewpoints, and to constantly evolve. This desire for intellectual engagement often goes unnoticed because they're so focused on their independence and autonomy. It's easy to assume that they don't need anyone to stimulate their minds, but in reality, it's a constant search for a partner or environment that can provide that mental spark. They need to be challenged and supported in their intellectual pursuits, not just left to do everything on their own. Whether it's reading thought-provoking books, diving into complex subjects, or having late-night discussions about life's big questions, they're always looking for ways to expand their mind and push their boundaries. That's the kind of fulfillment they crave, a meeting of minds that stimulates them to keep growing, questioning, and evolving. They're constantly striving to learn more, think deeper, and challenge themselves. When they find that intellectual connection, it feels like they've found something truly special, the kind of bond that pushes them to be better, to keep evolving, and to never stop exploring. And here's the big one, the secret desire that many Sigma females won't admit. It's the one that hits deep, the longing for a partner who's as strong, independent, and self-sufficient as they are. Now, I know this might sound surprising, but it's true. Many Sigma females, despite their tough exterior and independent ways, secretly wish for someone who can stand beside them as an equal, someone who values their autonomy and respects their independence, but also challenges them to grow and be better. It's not about needing someone to complete them, because Sigma females don't need anyone to fix them or make them feel whole. They're already whole. It's about finding someone who can walk alongside them in life, someone who doesn't try to hold them back but encourages them to keep pushing forward. They want a partner who understands that they're not looking for someone to rescue them, but someone who adds value to their lives, someone who shares their desire for growth, adventure, and deeper connection. This desire for a true partnership, not one where one person dominates or controls, but where both parties bring their strengths to the table, is something many Sigma females long for. The truth is, they want someone who challenges them, someone who can hold their own while also being able to listen, learn, and grow with them. It's about mutual respect, trust, and the shared drive to evolve together. But many Sigma females will never admit this longing because it feels vulnerable. Admitting that they want someone to walk beside them, someone who can keep up with them and share in their journeys, means they have to open up and let someone in. And that's a scary thought. They've spent so much time learning to rely on themselves, to handle life solo, that the idea of letting someone else into that inner world feels like a big leap. It's easy to think that they don't need anyone, that they've got it all covered. But deep down, there's a need for a partner who is not just a companion, but a fellow force. Someone who is as fiercely independent as they are, but also someone who knows how to challenge them in the right ways. That's the ultimate desire. And it's not easy to admit because it exposes a layer of vulnerability that Sigma females don't often show. But the truth? They all want to find that person who will challenge them, push them to be their best selves, and walk beside them, not behind them or in front of them. Equality, respect, and mutual growth. That's what they truly desire. So there you have it, the 7 forbidden desires that Sigma females secretly crave. Despite the public image of being strong, independent, and self-sufficient, Sigma females are complex, layered individuals with a rich inner world full of hidden longings and desires that go beyond what meets the eye. Don't let the quiet exterior fool you. Beneath the calm, composed surface, there's a deep need for connection, adventure, fulfillment, and respect. These desires are often kept hidden because Sigma females are so accustomed to doing things on their own, living life on their terms, and not seeking approval from others. But the reality is that even the strongest, most self-reliant individuals have deeper needs and longings that they sometimes keep to themselves. These desires are part of what makes Sigma females so unique. They are not one-dimensional. They are not just the independent, detached individuals people often think they are. They are powerful, multifaceted beings who have their own needs for connection, for adventure, for meaning, and for understanding. So, the next time you encounter a Sigma female, remember that what you see on the surface is only a fraction of who she is. There's so much more beneath the surface, and it's worth understanding that the things she quietly craves are often the same things everyone else does. A real connection, someone to walk beside her, and a life full of purpose and fulfillment. Sigma females, I want to hear from you. Do you relate to these desires? Which one of these points resonates with you the most? Drop a comment below and let me know your thoughts. I love hearing from you and connecting with others who understand what it means to be a Sigma female. And while you're here, don't miss out on the next video. We're diving even deeper into the unique traits that make the Sigma female stand out. We'll explore even more about what drives them, what challenges them, and what makes them thrive. Trust me, you won't want to miss it. See you there.